गुरुवे नमः श्री चैतन्य मनोभिष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं गुरो श्रीयुतपत्कं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथं तं तां सजीवं साहदैतं साहदूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपाद सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखावितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पतिगोपेश गोपिकान्ताराधनचरणश्च काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभयश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. Welcome to this discussion on Bhagavad Gita. So today we will start with chapter number 3. The title of this chapter is Karma Yoga. So in this we have close to 43 shlokas. So there are uh, 6 sections here. So the first section is talking about Karma Yoga is better than Jnana Yoga. So there is a confusion in Arjuna's mind. So Arjuna is confused by Krishna's instruction in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. There is one shloka which is 2.49. Dure hi avaram karma buddhi yoga dhananjay buddho sharanam anvicha kripana phalayetava. So Krishna is advising Arjuna to give up inferior actions like avaram karma through buddhi yoga, emphasizing intelligence and discrimination. So in this shloka, Krishna wanted to highlight the importance of Nishkama Karma Yoga, which is selfless action without attachment to results, over Karma Kanda, which involves ritualistic actions aimed at material rewards. However, Arjuna misinterprets this point. He thinks that fighting, which involves violence, is avaram karma. So there is a mistake in understanding the definition of terms. So he thinks this as avaram karma. He believes that true wisdom would require him to renounce the battle entirely. This leads to a question in Arjuna's mind at the beginning of third chapter. If intelligence or buddhi yoga means renouncing action, why is Krishna urging him to fight? So, Arjuna, this seems contradictory to the teachings of renunciation that Krishna has previously conveyed. Teach lessons of Shanti or peace, which Krishna has previously conveyed. So, the first part majorly focuses on explaining. So, this entire chapter focuses on this. So, Krishna, here we need to note one important thing. In Bhagavad Gita, there are there are 18 chapters. Some chapters have very, very long, more number of verses. Say, for example, chapter 18 has 78 shlokas. The chapter 2 that we completed last week is chapter no, has 72 shlokas. Um, Typically, any chapter which has more than 40 shlokas are dwelling on very deep thoughts or deep details of Krishna's teachings. So, in this specific chapter, which is chapter number 3, we will be majorly focusing on Karma Yoga, selfless action. So, that is the most important. That is Nishkam Karma Yoga. That is what we will be talking about. So, in this chapter, Krishna addresses Arjuna's confusion in the chapter 3 by explaining about Karma Yoga. Emphasizes the point, if Karma Yoga is better than Jnana Yoga, then even then he has to practice Karma Yoga. So this is the do activities selflessly without attachment to the results. And this is much better than Jnana Yoga. So in shlokas 1 to 9, Krishna emphasizes that while emphasizes that while Jnana Yoga is a spiritual path, it is not suitable for everyone. And for Arjuna, it is better for him to engage in Karma Yoga rather than seeking to renounce his duties. So Krishna explains that performing one's duty without attachment elevates an individual spiritually, then and it aligns him with the Buddhi Yoga. So that is the main focus of this shloka number 1 to 9. So first and second shloka focus on Arjuna's confusion, whether there is renunciation or action. There are some details here we discuss, and then uh, there are other points on other shlokas. I will not. We will dwell that when we take up those shlokas. Then in 10 to 16, Krishna further explains that if one is not qualified for karma yoga, then it is better for him to practice karma kanda, ritualistic actions aimed at achieving material benefits. So, performing duties through karma kanda allows individuals to gradually progress towards the higher path of karma yoga. Krishna emphasizes that even if one is not fully ready for karma yoga, engaging in duties through karma kanda ensures spiritual elevation over a period of time. So that is the main idea of shloka number 10 to 16. For those who are qualified for jnana yoga, Krishna advises that even if they, even then they should practice karma yoga so that they can set an example. So that is what is told in shloka number 17 to 24. Even wise must engage in karma yoga to lead example and guide society towards spiritual growth. So here Krishna is bringing Janak Maharaj and himself. He himself quotes that they are the good examples who do activities, who do practice karma yoga, even when they are qualified for jnana yoga. So by acting without attachment, they not only elevate themselves but also help others understand the principles of selfless action. So it is very, very important. And in shloka number 25 and 29, Krishna explains the key differences between karma yoga and karma kanda. So karma kanda binds an individual to the material world by awarding through the desire for rewards, whereas karma yoga frees the individual souls from the cycle of attachment and leads towards spiritual liberation. So that is the difference between. So it is, I know it is discussed very wide. Then between 30 to 35, Krishna acknowledged that challenges in practice of karma yoga, particularly overcoming desires. In shlokas 30 to 35, he explains how karma yoga elevates a person spiritually, yet it requires some self-control and discipline. So when he is talking about it, then Arjuna is asking a question in this zone, shloka number 36 to 43, where Krishna and Arjuna discuss about the greatest enemy of Karma Yoga. And Krishna advises that it is lust. So one has to control mind and senses to overcome this barrier. So those are a few things which is talked about here. Ultimately, in this entire chapter, Krishna teaches Arjuna that action without attachment is essential for spiritual progress. So even if one is qualified for higher paths like Jnana Yoga, practicing Karma Yoga is crucial for setting an example for others. So by following Karma Yoga, Arjuna and others can rise above the material entanglement and attain spiritual freedom. So this is what Krishna speaks in Karma Yoga and in this chapter. So with this point, let us go to the first shloka. So which is Arjuna Vacha. Nyayasi cheta karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tata kim karmani gore ma niyojayasi kesav. We will take both first shloka and the second shloka together because they are having similar themes. Vyamishrenenga vakyena buddhim mohesiyame tadekam mada nishchitya yena shreyo aham apnuyam. So Arjuna said, "O Janardana, O Kesava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruity work?" So, so here there is a ghastly warfare and then fruity work. Then Vyamishrenaiva vakyene buddhim moya sivame tad ekam mada nischitya ena shreyo aham apnuyam. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. So here we need to understand the the definition which Krishna has given in his previous discussions. How is it understood by how is it understood by Arjuna? So the we generally today's parlance we can call it as operational definition. So operational definition is not understood by both of them. That is why Arjuna is thinking it is equivocal instructions. So we will understand this here. And then moha. So there is some illusion. Moha, you are bewildering. So Arjuna is bewildered. So he is expressing that he is in a state of confusion. So Krishna does not intend to place Arjuna in illusion, but Arjuna feels trapped by this dilemma. This raises the question of how Arjuna has entered into the state of illusion and why he feels torn between two different points or two different ends. So this is something which we will see now. Now Arjuna's question or confusion stems from a conflict in his mind between action and renunciation. So if you see here, if you see the so Arjuna's confusion is renunciation or action. So there are four levels: inactivity, which is renouncing, or buddhi, activity, which is fighting or vikarma, and so there are four actions which Krishna is talking in. Krishna is talking in second chapter. One is Jnana Yoga, which is renounced activity. So yes, to it does need not have to fight. So in 3.2, 3.2, if you see Krishna is asking if intelligence is superior. Arjuna is asking if intelligence is superior. Why Arjuna has to engage in action of fighting? So according to him, let us get into this little later. So, if intelligence is superior, why should Arjuna get engaged in fighting? So, according to Arjuna, fighting is a vikarma. So, fighting means karmic bondage, while renunciation promises freedom from such entanglements and avoidance of violence. So, this reflects Arjuna's struggle between following his duty as a warrior and seeking spiritual liberation through inaction. So if we now go to this, so according to Arjuna, no fighting, renounced inactivity. So Jnana Yoga means renounced inactivity. You will not fight, and this will result in this will help in no no material bondage. So you'll be freed. He is not engaged in gruesome war. Then there is something called as Nishkama Karma Yoga, which is renounced activity. So renounced activity is fighting for liberation. This is recommended by Krishna. So Krishna talks all this in the second chapter. So and then Krishna talks about karma kanda, fruitive activity, fighting for heaven or for a prosperous kingdom. So in either case, it is a karma kanda. It's a fruitive activity. Then vikarma, sinful inactivity, giving up fighting. So Arjuna Now, previously he was talking about giving up fighting, but now he's telling that I'm going to, um, I'm a intelligent guy. I'm an intelligent guy. I'm using intelligence, and intelligence is related with vairagya. So I'm going to renounce, and I'm not going to fight. So these are the four levels of activity, inactivity, which we need to understand. Now, let us go back to the shloka. So Arjuna's now in the verses, if we see Bhagavad Gita, verse 2.53 to 2.72, Krishna is majorly talking about Sthita Pragna. So when we say um, equivocal can come from two different things. One is Buddhi Yoga and other one is Shanti. So Buddhi Yoga means renunciation. Shanti means no fighting. So this, if you see, Krishna has used multiple places in the shlokas between 2.53 and 2.72. So if you take verses 2.66, na astir buddhir. So there is a mention of buddhir. Ayuktasya, na cha yuktasya bhavana, na cha bhavayanta shanti, ashantasya kutasukam. So he has to involve his intelligence such that there is shanti. This is 2.66. If you see 2.70, apuryamanam achalam pratishtam samudram apa pravishyanti yatvat tadvat kamayam pravishyanti sarve shashantim apnoti. So when we need peace, how fighting can lead to peace? So it is equivocal. Then 2.71. Vihaya kaman yes sarvan pumam sharati nishpraha nirmamo nir ahankara shashantim atigacchati. So here also there is no where fighting is mentioned, only shanti is mentioned. So all these verses between 2.53 to 2.72 majorly focus on moving towards shanti. So that is where is when there is a war, where is shanti? And that is only violence. So last time Krishna speaks about fighting is in shloka number 2.38. Sukhadukke same kritva labha labho jaya jaya tato yuddhaya yujjasva naivam papam avapyasi. Do thou fight for sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing, you will never incur sin. Actually, between 2.31 to 2.37, Krishna actually speaks about Karma Kanda. So 2.38 is just the beginning of Nishkama Karma Yoga. So from 2.39 onwards, Krishna discussed concepts like peace and inner tranquility, which seem to contradict his earlier instruction of fighting, which is in 2.38. So our Krishna's earlier guidance is not negated by these teachings. So if you see after 2.38, Krishna shifts to deeper concepts of spiritual peace, which might confuse Arjuna. Peace mentioned in 2.66, 2.70, 2.71, they are all intrinsic and unshakable peace which stem from the soul. This peace is vastly different from the temporary peace which Arjuna seeks on a battlefield by renouncing the battlefield. So this distinction adds to the Arjuna's inner conflict. As he cannot reconcile Krishna's teachings about peace with his duty to fight, he is now thinking either Krishna's statements are equivocal or he is not very clear. So Krishna often uses the same terms with meanings, with meanings based on the concept, context. For example, the word buddhi appears several times, signifying intelligence, knowledge, or application of wisdom in various situations. So if you see shloka number 2.55, let us take that shloka. प्रजायति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थमनुगतान् आत्मनि एव आत्म तुष्ट sthitapragnas. Sthitapragnas is a person who is transcendently situated, who is also is in a stable mind, is intelligence is fixed. So if you take 2.56, let us go to the next shloka. Dukkeshu anudignamana sukkeshu vigitasa vitaraga bhayakrodha sthitadir, whose mind is steady, his intelligence is steady. Then if you take 2.65, once again buddhi paryavatishtate. Then 2.66, you can say nasti buddhi ayuktasya. So all point to jnana and buddhi. So this is giving them the knowledge of how the Sthita Prajna walks, how he talks, how he goes around, how he sits, and so on. So these are the knowledge he is giving. In the Vedic system, knowledge, which is jnana, is closely linked with vairagya, which is renunciation. Once a person gains true knowledge of the material world and understands their role as a soul and a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they naturally gyrate towards renunciation and withdrawal from the worldly entanglements. So Arjuna, however, struggles to correlate this knowledge with the duty to fight. So his understanding is when I have good knowledge, I will practice vairagya, giving up things. So how is it related with duty? So one is shanti everywhere, and it is quite different from fighting. Other one is buddhi, which is vairagya, which is renouncing, and it is not related with fighting. So here Arjuna is leading to inactivity, not warfare. So overall, Arjuna is confused. So now, if you see shloka number 2.41, Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekehe kurunandana bahushakayantascha buddhaya avyasayana. So Krishna speaks about Vyavasayatmika buddhi, which is explaining with the person with a focused intelligence as one-pointed determination. So here also, if you take uh, one-pointed intelligence, so one-pointed intelligence, you should renounce everything. If you see a person who is intelligent, who wants bhoga aishwarya, so if he has to fight, he has to get more wealth. When he fights, he will get more wealth, or he will get heavenly planets, which is nothing but a superior, field for enjoyment. So he's thinking Krishna criticizes people who lack focus, and hence people who are attracted to heavenly wealth or heavenly facilities, they are having lower intelligence. But I being having a higher intelligence, I have a one-pointed interest of renouncing everything and going. I don't want to fight this war and get a kingdom. I don't want that. So this two shlokas, 2.41 and 2.42 also Arjuna can misinterpret. So he thinks that whether I should fight, if I fight, it looks like I am fighting for honor or high heavenly kingdom or more wealth. Instead of that, I will renounce. So Arjuna's dilemma revolves around whether to fight action or not fight, which is renunciation. Krishna presents, so Krishna is now presenting four different approaches, which is Jnana Yoga, which is renounced inactivity, which involves no fighting, where one withdraws from action to focus solely on spiritual knowledge and spiritual relationship, which is this one. Then Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga is renounced activity, fighting with sense of duty without attachment to the results, aiming for spiritual revelation. Here, action is motivated by a higher purpose, not personal gain. This is what Krishna recommends. Then Karma Kanda, which is a fruity activity, fighting for material rewards such as achieving heaven or other personal benefits. The motivation is personal desire for pleasure and success. So this is karma kanda, fruitive activity. And the fourth one is vikarma, which is sinful inaction, avoiding the fight altogether, which Krishna condemns as sinful because it neglects one's duty. This form of inaction results in negative consequences. So he may probably be pushed to hell or he will suffer in this planet only. We do not know. So all these four paths involve either action or inaction. They are driven by different motivation and levels of consciousness. So renounce inactivity is about spiritual detachment, while Nishkam Karma Yoga emphasizing fulfilling duty without attachment to the outcomes. Karma Kanda is simply driven by material desires. Vikarma is failure to act when one should do the action. So Arjuna is struggling to understand whether it is to perform his duty or renouncing the fight altogether. So this is where now he is stuck now. So in if you see 2.33, so here Atachetatvam imam dharmiyam sangramam na karishyasi tatasvatarma kirtim cha itva papam avapyasi. So here Krishna is making it clear that giving up one's duty leads to bad karma. He warns Arjuna that failing to perform his responsibilities will result in sin and loss of reputation. So here is the Vikarma clearly told. So Arjuna, Vikarma is, so this is Krishna's definition of Vikarma. But according to Arjuna, fighting against his relatives is Vikarma. So the Krishna defines, no, so there is a mismatch in the view. Now, if I go once again to 2.49, दूरेने हि अवरं कर्म बुद्धि योगा धनंजय बुद्धो शरणम अन्विच कृपणा फलयेतव. Buddhi is superior to avarena karma. So avaram karma is fighting with fighting with his relatives. So so he thinks that fighting with relatives is not good. Instead of that, he will renounce, show his vairagya. So he finds that there is a mismatch. So Krishna actually encourages in this shloka Arjuna to focus on buddhi yoga rather than lower material driven action associated with karma kanda, which Krishna discusses between 2.31 to 2.38. There he talks about karma kanda, but Arjuna Krishna tells that it is not okay to do karma kanda. Instead of him, he has to do karma yoga. So that is what Krishna wants Arjuna to mainly focus. So ultimately, for Arjuna, buddhi relates to jnana. He believes that fighting is inauspicious and that renunciation is a wiser choice. This is the root of Arjuna's question whether true intelligence lies in action or inaction or renunciation. It is something which Arjuna is unable to balance. So he asks question. So if you go back to the shloka number, so here we talked about equivocal instructions. When we say equivocal instructions, it is buddhi and avaram karma. So what is sinful action, and what is renunciation that Arjuna is unable to discuss. No, Arjuna is unable to balance. So Krishna will explain it in subsequent shlokas. So we will go to the next shloka here, 3.3. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Loke Yasmin Vivida Nishta Pura Prokta Mayanaga Jnana Yogena, na, Yoge na Shankyana Karma Yoge na Yogina. So, Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical, philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service." So there are many things that we can discuss here in this specific shloka. Um, so one important thing that we need to know is there is mention of karma yoga, but Prabhupada is talking about devotional service. So this is something which we need to understand. And uh, Krishna, where is Krishna talking about jnana yoga in entire of Bhagavad Gita? He's talking about um, jnana yoga in jnana yoga to jnana yogena shankyana karma yogena yogina. Where does he talk about this? He talks about that in 2.39 here. एषे ते हवीते शंके बुद्धिर्योगे त्वमिमां शृणु बुद्धयुक्तया पार्थ कर्म बंधन precious. So the flow of jnana yoga and karma yoga is there throughout the Bhagavad Gita, but till now in chapter 2, the constitution of body, constitution of soul, and karma kanda is discussed till here. So this is the analytical way of understanding soul and body. So that is what Krishna is telling. So from here, there is a flip. So there is a transition to Karma Yoga. So this is what Krishna is talking about in Shloka number 3.3. Jnana Yogena Shankyana, Karma Yogena Yogina. So till 2.39, Krishna has talked about Shankya Yoga, and after that, he has talked about Karma Kanda and Nishkam Karma Yoga. Karma Kanda, he talks about Karma Kanda between 2.31 and 2.38. From 2.38 to 2.54, he talks about Nishkam Karma Yoga. So, this is talked about in this 16 shlokas between 2.31 to 2.54. So, that is what he talks about. So, if you see the chapter number 2 explanation, so from 11 to 30, it's talking about there is a discussion about soul. There is discussion about soul and body, and 31 to 37 is karma kanda. So the shloka number 39 comes here where there is a flip. So this is Shankya Yoga, this entire thing, and this is Nishkam Karma Yoga. So this is what Krishna means in this shloka, in shloka number, sorry, in this shloka. Jnana Yogena Shankyana, Karma Yogena Yogena. So there is a movement from one uh, one yoga to another yoga. Thus far, so he is telling that he has described about Shankya Yoga, and then he has talked about Karma Yoga. So when we see that Buddhi Yoga means is to act in knowledge or act in a way so that one is detached from the fruity results. This is what we see in Nishkam Karma Yoga. This is second application of Jnana Yoga. Fight without attachment to the fruity results. So this is Buddhi Yoga. This is what Krishna talks about. The level of a particular person. So the Krishna talks about in two levels. One is at Karma Yoga level, and another one is Buddhi Yoga level or Jnana Yoga level. The level of a particular person is at any time is based on is adhika or based on one's consciousness. This depends upon the level of realization and detachment for jnana and karma yoga. So this is something which is purely based on one's realization. So that is what we need to understand. So in this specific shloka, for us, uh, Prabhupada does not majorly make any distinction between Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga because it is empirical philosophical speculation and other is by devotional service. Empirical philosophical speculation also is first you gain the knowledge and then you apply it. The other one is you straight away start working on it, and when you work on it, you will understand that you are not body and you are soul. So it is only the level of realization. So there is no much difference between these two. So that is what is that. This will be explained by Srila Prabhupada in his purports and Krishna in Bhagavad Gita throughout. So we will discuss this in deeper as we go forward. Now, let us come to the point. Srila Prabhupada mentioning Karma Yoga as devotional service. How is this? How is this? So, why is this? How Karma Yoga is devotional service? So there are many instances of this, many interviews of Srila Prabhupada. One of the interviews, one Mayavadi asks Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, there are many verses in Bhagavad Gita where there is no Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, but you are still mentioning Krishna there. How is it? So Srila Prabhupada tells that when Krishna is mentioned, explicitly telling in 9.34, let's look at that. Explicitly tells in 9.34, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evashisi yuktva atmanam matparayana. So in this place, Krishna tells Mam in at least six times in this shloka. But the Mayavadi translator of this shloka has told that we need not have to surrender to Krishna, but to the unborn within him. So if somebody removes Krishna from Bhagavad Gita in places where he explicitly says that it is to explicitly says that it is to him we need to surrender. It is to the Krishna to whom we have to surrender. And if we have not done, if we misinterpret it, then Srila Prabhupada says that just to counter this, I added in Krishna in places where he is not mentioned. So it is like tit for tat thing. So to bring this is one of the reasons. Other reason is to bring conclusive understanding. Or no, this is the what is the conclusive understanding of Bhagavad Gita? Conclusive understanding of Bhagavad Gita is that we should surrender to Krishna, ultimately surrender to Krishna when we practice Bhakti Yoga. So, and Bhagavad Gita has its own thought flow, and the thought flow culminates in the shloka 18.6, which is Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayasyani Masucha. So one is contextual to bring gravity to the to importance of Krishna and the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, Prabhupada has brought Krishna in many places. Wherever there is a implicit meaning also, Prabhupada brings Krishna there. In addition to that, when the conclusive understanding of Bhagavad Gita is that we need to surrender to Krishna, abandon all varieties of religion, and just surrender unto me, just surrender unto me. So this is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. So this surrender is called as Sharanagati. It is an important part of Bhakti. So we see that this Bhagavad Gita was told to Arjuna. And Arjuna, after listening to it, what he does, what Krishna tells. And we have references of that in Srimad Bhagavatam. We have references of Arjuna's life in Mahabharata. He led a life of devotee. So Arjuna did not go and practice Jnana Yoga or meditated on something unborn within Krishna, but he just followed the instructions of Krishna. From this point of view, that Bhagavad Gita Now, from this point of view, we see that Arjuna, as a devotee, was just following the instructions of Krishna. And when you follow instructions of Krishna, it is Bhakti Yoga. So, the conclusive understanding of Bhagavad Gita is Bhakti Yoga. This is devotion to Krishna as the supreme absolute truth. So, Srila Prabhupada gives this conclusive understanding throughout the Gita purports. So, this is based on conclusive understanding. So, contextual understanding is that Mayavadis removed Krishna even from the places where BG explicitly brings Krishna. Bhagavad Gita brings Krishna there. The and So these are the two important things. Other one is that we have to we have to distribute books. Okay, we need to distribute books. Book distribution is one of the most important. Shastra Dhan is one of the important uh, objective of ISKCON or Krishna consciousness as such. So in Kali Yuga, people have no interest to read books. So maybe they have only few minutes. So when they get time to read Bhagavad Gita for few minutes, the the reader should get essential message of Gita. Thus, what Krishna gives at the end of Gita, Srila Prabhupada gives throughout Gita. This is not contradicting Krishna's mission or will, but fulfilling Krishna's will. Krishna's mission is to make people in every nook and corner of the world practice bhakti in a systematic way, as it is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Before Krishna comes to this conclusion, Krishna is going through different flow of thought. In Kali Yuga, people do not have time to go through all this intricate flow of thoughts. Thus, Srila Prabhupada ensures that readers get a crystal clear understanding throughout the Bhagavad Gita. So, in this chapter 3.30, we can see that Mai Sarvani Karmani Sanyasya Adhyatma Chetasa Nirashir Nirmamo Bhutva Yuddhasya Vigatajval. Therefore, Arjuna, surrendering all works unto me, with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, fight. So, it means what? There is one more shloka we should understand, 18.46. Yata pravirte bhutana yena sarvam idam tatam. Swakarmanam tam abhyarcha siddhim vindati mana. By worship of the Lord, who is source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. So this is devotional service. Thus, using Karma Yoga as a devotional service or Bhakti Yoga is not contradiction, but fulfillment of Krishna's mission and desire throughout Bhagavad Gita. This will ensure that people will get the message of Bhagavad Gita clearly. Some of the scholars have pointed out that Srila Prabhupada was a Bhakti fanatic. No, Srila Prabhupada is aware of what is happening throughout the Bhagavad Gita. We can see how Srila Prabhupada make this point. So if you see the 2.72, if you see here, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura has summarized the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita as being the contents for the old text. In Bhagavad Gita, the subject matters are Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. In second chapter, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga have been clearly discussed, and a glimpse of Bhakti Yoga has been given as the contents of the complete trust. So, what is Srila Prabhupada actually meaning here when he says glimpse of Bhakti Yoga? He means shloka number 2.61. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matpara paseyashendriyani tasya pragna prasishita. Matpara, matpara devotee. One who restrains his senses, keeping them under full control, fixes his conscious upon me. This is Krishna consciousness. One who is in Krishna consciousness is a man of steady intelligence. This is the glimpse of Bhakti Yoga. Okay. So we see that Srila Prabhupada has given in this chapter, though it is a glimpse of Bhakti Yoga, only one shloka, but Prabhupada has given the entire episode of Ambarish Maharaj as an example for Bhakti Yoga. And what is Ambarish Maharaj speciality? Ambarish Maharaj is one of the best examples of a devotee who has followed Navavidha Bhakti. So, so Srila Prabhupada has given a greater explanation of bhakti everywhere in chapter 2, throughout Bhagavad Gita, so that we do not miss the overall conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. So Srila Prabhupada wants us to stay focused in that way. We need to get focused on Bhagavad Gita. So this is not just a simplistic translation of anything and everything as bhakti. No, it is a deep level of thought. In this, there is a deep level of thought of Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada is aware of the overall flow of Gita. We can see that when we read his purports, how he takes the overall flow of the Gita. Along with the flow, Srila Prabhupada gives the overall conclusion of Gita. So when he explains about soul, body, and so on, he explains soul, body, and so on, and then he tells that is why we should practice Bhagavad Gita. That is why we should practice devotional service. So there are many technicalities in Bhagavad Gita. So how we know that Srila Prabhupada was once asked which book he would like to give commentary in future. He told Bhagavad Gita. And the reason he told was that so many acharyas have written commentary on Bhagavad Gita. And he wanted to present some other acharyas commentaries. So we can get so that we can get understanding of other acharyas commentary. So Srila Prabhupada wanted to be, wanted his Bhagavad Gita to be also commented further. So he was telling that his disciples will write commentary on his Bhagavad Gita as it is. So the point is, Bhagavad Gita's flow is very deep, and the technicalities are very vast and fascinating. So Srila Prabhupada could have taken any one of this and written the commentary on that as well. But uh, what he has done, so is Bhagavad Gita as it is written by Srila Prabhupada is inadequate? No. The purpose of this Bhagavad Gita as it is to take us to the stage of surrender and engage in bhakti. That way it is perfect and complete. As far as the depth and vastness of Bhagavad Gita, there is no limit to it. Thus, we will release newer and newer meanings of Bhagavad Gita every time and every day. The theme will keep on expanding. Thus, we should use Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita to understand the conclusive message of Bhagavad Gita. And along with that, we should also understand the chapter-wise flow of thought, which Srila Prabhupada gives in its purport. Thus, in our discussions, we will understand the inner flow of the chapter as well as the devotional understanding which Srila Prabhupada brings in his purports. This will ensure how the essential meaning of every verse can be applied in our day-to-day practice of sadhana. Srila Prabhupada wanted the books for his book distribution, and this Bhagavad Gita is a fundamental book which Srila Prabhupada wanted to be distributed worldwide. Thus, he focused on fundamentals. He keeps hammering the fundamentals again and again so that the reader, even if he reads one page for the money he has paid for buying the book, he will get the conclusive understanding of the Gita. Thus, Srila Prabhupada roots the basis of Bhagavad Gita and its concepts very firmly in its purport. Thereby, he ensures that we do not get caught in technicalities, but we get the final message of Bhagavad Gita. So, if you see the Canto 10 of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 23, we see that the Brahmanas episode. So Brahmanas got stuck in technicalities. Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna sends his representatives to collect the offering, but the Brahmanas got simply stuck in technicalities. They missed the whole point. On the other hand, Brahmana's wife, they were simple people. They knew that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they immediately gave all the offering to them. So Prabhupada gave us simple formula. We need to just adapt to it. And similarly, in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we see a similar episode. In Sridangam, in South India, there was apparently a illiterate Brahmana who could not read or pronounce Bhagavad Gita shlokas properly. So people were teasing, but he was completely oblivious of all that. He was in ecstasy and he had tears in his eyes. He was, when Prabhupada, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, what is he doing? So he was saying that I'm meditating on the instructions of my spiritual master on every verse of Bhagavad Gita. By just meditating on the fact that how supreme object of worship, that Supreme Lord has come down to become the chariot driver of his devotee and obey his order, he could say that he could understand the love the Lord has for his devotees. And he says that he's amazed by the love of the Lord for his devotees. And this is bringing tears in his eyes. So just by hearing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced the devotee. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that he has attained perfection in the life. So because he has understood the essence, which is devotion to Krishna, which is appreciation of Krishna's love for his devotees and to all the living entities. And similar love for Krishna will be invoked for him in us by reading the purports of Srila Prabhupada. So this devotional attitude is the conclusion of Gita, and Srila Prabhupada gives it throughout the Gita. So this is the most important thing we need to understand about Prabhupada's purport and Prabhupada's Gita. So I think I took a longer time. I'll stop here. Any questions, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much for all these insightful analyses. In the beginning of this class, you were mentioning about the qualifications for being engaged in karma yoga. So could you please clarify what exactly are these qualifications required?
So it is adhikar. So for us, it is very clear, Prabhu. Prabhupada has given a very simple method for the people in Kali Yuga, which is chanting 4 rounds, following 4 regulative principles, getting up early in the morning. So these are the karma yoga. So sometimes what happens is only when we follow this, it is easy for us to read Prabhupada's books at least 1 hour every day. When we do this, we understand, then engage in some service at home or at a temple, so that or at any preaching center, so that you get a right understanding of philosophy, and you are also practicing the devotional service in association of devotees. So this is karma yoga. Typically, in today's context, this is karma yoga.
So then a question follows that is there any clear-cut distinction between karma yoga and bhakti yoga then?
So bhakti yoga is means and end by itself. When you follow this, so what is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu? Hearing and chanting, we do that. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam, we memorize shloka, we remember it. Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Pada Sevanam, we uh, serve devotees, we serve Lord in his deity form. Pada Sevanam, Vandanam, we offer obeisances, Vandanam. Archanam, we do Archana, we do Tulsi Puja, we do Guru Puja, Mandanam, Archanam, Dashyam. We respect senior devotees when there is a sannyasi or GVC coming to our temple or our center. We pay obeisances, Mandanam, Archanam, Dashyam, Shakyam. We are living in association of devotees. Shakyam. Atma Nivedana. We surrender. At one point, we surrender everything to Krishna and we become full-time devotees. So these we follow in our process. So these actions are, if you see in the Karma Yoga portion, these actions we do not only because it is the nature of the soul, it is also purifying us. So when we get ourselves purified, whether it is karma yoga or karma kanda, the action keeps on purifying us because we offer food either to demigods or we offer food to the Lord. By doing this action, we purify ourselves. That is karma yoga. So we need to act. Inaction is not a way. We need to act. And gradually we learn, oh, this is bhakti yoga. So then in sadhaka state, we do this to purify it. And in purified state, there is no impurity in us. So we are not troubled by the material modes of nature. We always remain in Shuddha Sattva and execute the devotion service program. So that is how it moves. So Karma Yoga is initial stage of Bhakti Yoga. Finally, it becomes completely Bhakti Yoga.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions? Okay, if there are no questions, then we'll stop here. Thank you very much for joining. Vacha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayevacha. पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय ग्रंथराज भगवद गीता की जय जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय
Jai.
गौर प्रेमानंद हरे
Hare Hare Bol.
कृष्णा
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
thank you all हरे कृष्ण